My soccer universe, and welcome to the next weekly review video. If you were waiting for my what to watch video, honestly, in the midweek there's a little bit of A Cup replay to watch and some Coppa Italia to watch round of 16, where honestly I will try to watch Milan and whatever, because I will have a little bit spare time in the evening, but I will probably not make a video about it. I said it for cup competitions that matter. I will start at the quarterfinal. I updated the standings up there, and if you look closely, there is a new jersey up there. I just made the unpacking video, but you won't get it on the same day as this video will post, because I have to make another one tomorrow to add it on, because there are quite some new jerseys. Speaking of jerseys, I'm wearing my 2002-03 Milan third jersey for a good reason, because Milan was wearing the third jerseys this weekend. We have only I watched games of 3 leagues this weekend, and I didn't watch that many games to begin with. Mainly was kind of a roughish weekend, but we also had a wedding of my brother where I actually did watch Milan. Yeah, I made myself a big friend there, but I took my nephew and said, buddy, you wanna watch soccer with me? Yes. And we had the phone up, so that was actually quite nice and made the whole family thing more bearable. Just also made a video on the sacking of Valverde, which I think was worthy of note. So yeah, there is quite some stuff out there that you will get. Let's go. I will talk about 5 leagues, 3 in some detail, mostly the games that I watched, and I will comment a little bit on others, and then we'll see where the rest will go. Just update you. And we will start not in Spain, no, we will start in the Premier League. In the Premier League, I actually saw a little bit of Sheffield United, West Ham United, because it was the evening game on Friday, and I have to say it was not a really good game. The goal came for Sheffield United. I did not see live. McBurney in the 53rd made it. It was then a deserved lead for Sheffield United. West Ham, weird third jerseys, I have to say. Did not show much. They got the equalizer. It was taken off by VAR. Crystal Palace Arsenal 1-1. Was from the highlights I saw, it was a little bit of a lucky. I mean, Arsenal was first a little bit better, but Crystal Palace had definitely more chances, it seemed to me. The big talking point, Aubameyang gave them the lead. Ayew equalized. Palace could have gotten the win, but the big talking point was the red card for Aubameyang, where many say, he doesn't mean to tackle. It was a mistimed tackle. To me, it was as clear of a red card as it can be, especially in terms of VAR. I know that he did not mean to do that, but it was a little bit reckless. Went there. I think it was fair to give him the red card. So 1-1, and Crystal Palace stays ahead of Arsenal. Surprise, surprise. Chelsea gets back on track with 3-0 over Burnley. Everton also kind of makes up a little bit for the disappointing FA Cup loss to Liverpool, 1-0 over Brighton. Leicester City takes an early lead, although at that time Southampton was already the better team, but then actually doesn't really stand a chance against Southampton. Southampton avenges the 9-0 loss by winning in Leicester. Armstrong in the 19th gets a quick equalizer, and then Ings in the 81st gets the goal. I think Ings also twice hit the woodwork. It was really dominating performance by Southampton, and I have to say Southampton really, since this debacle, they made kind of the turnaround, and at the moment you wouldn't say that they're anyway relegation threatened. Manchester United completely dominates Norwich. This was probably one of the poor showings of Norwich, I have to say. Rashford gets 2, Martial gets the 3rd one, Greenwood also. There was a nice pass for Mata, from Mata, who also played. So yeah, Manchester United also, after seemingly dropping points, now back on track. Wolves Newcastle ends in a 1-1 draw. And then I saw Spurs against Liverpool, which was a weird game. you could tell that Liverpool is by far the better team, and Spurs are missing. Harry Kane is out for a long time now, but actually, I think Mourinho put out a quite credible lineup. But at first, I have to say that if there were chances, they were all Liverpool's, and the first 45 minutes was all Liverpool to me. I mean, Spurs, I think I had one short period where they could get out a little bit. Other than that, Liverpool dominated possession. They created a few chances, but they didn't have to exert themselves. In the end, Firmino gives them, through their press and so on, gives them the lead in a really, really nice move. Makes it 1-0 at the half. And I think the game a little slower pace, but continued that way. And around the 60th, Spurs comes back and has chances to equalize. Heung-min Song, or in the first half, could have made it. Could have made a goal. He should have made a goal when he had a really clear chance to score. And the biggest one, of course, Lo Celso, where I have no idea how this shot did not get in. Liverpool hangs on for the win. Liverpool 20 wins out of 21 games, 61 points. I mean, that's a record. They are over a year unbeaten in the Premier League. It's pretty remarkable stuff, but as Klopp rightly points out, it doesn't give you any titles. On Sunday, a huge win for Watford at Bournemouth, and at this point, you have to be a little bit worried for Eddie Howe's team. It does not look good, and Bournemouth might be in real threat of relegation. Decouré, Dini, and then late Pereira scored the goals for Watford. And then I was actually really looking forward to watch Aston Villa against Manchester City. That game I switched over to a Serie A game, and then they didn't really follow that one on Sunday afternoon. It was all City, Aston Villa, and I have to say, what is it, Drinkwater. He is playing for Aston Villa. It was kind of this, here Drinkwater is playing, because he was this big guy when Leicester won the championship. Riyad Mahrez danced circles around him. The first goal, I mean, he completely misjudged. I mean, it was very easy for Mahrez to get that one running through, not really challenged, mistimed tackle, whatever. He makes the dummy, puts it into net, 1-0. Few minutes later, similar poor defending, heads. They cannot get the ball where the ball lands at Mahrez, makes it 2-0, and then Aguero, like 10 minutes after the 1-0, makes it 3-0 after a wonderful pass by De Bruyne. Or was it the one to Gabriel Jesus? I think it was the one to Gabriel Jesus that was just amazing. It was 4-0 at the half. I didn't see the 4-0. I just saw the highlights afterwards. And Aguero adds 2 more. He's now a record hat-trick scorer and I think foreign goal scorer in the Premier League. And it ranks him high in the whole history of the top flight. Very late, and I saw that on live. I saw the 6-0 and the 6-1 live. El Ghazi puts a penalty. The one thing that was really heartbreaking for me, and I, from one point, understand it, when after 3-0, I think many people started leaving Villa Park, and I'm wondering, I hope they're season ticket holders, because otherwise you have paid a lot of money to see utter destruction, then you leave. Doesn't look good. If you look now at the table, we have a slight change. Liverpool extends the lead thanks to Leicester losing, but now Leicester is not second, but third, because Manchester City goes up and Chelsea. Those two are kind of level. I think that Leicester City, Chelsea will get closer, and Manchester City will pull away from that pack and will get into a very safe second place. Chelsea looks kind of steadied the ship now again, but we have to see if this is sustained. Manchester United is hanging in there. I think Manchester United could make a run for the top 4 spots, but I would say the current 4 will also remain at the end. Sheffield United very surprisingly up there. Wolves also, Spurs now dropping out, but I have to say Spurs had a miserable run, but the showing of Spurs against Liverpool actually gave me some hope that Spurs could get a little bit better. Then it continues with London teams, Crystal Palace, 1 ahead of Arsenal, then Everton, who also is a little bit up, in Southampton. So those kind of, Southampton clearly steadied the ship, and Everton, I think, under Ancelotti is also going places. FA Cup notwithstanding. I think with Newcastle we have a first team that has to be slightly worried, and Brighton, Burnley, West Ham, Watford just above the line, and Villa, Bournemouth, Norwich seem like also favorites of going down, and the way it looks at the moment, I would say those are the ones going down. Let's go to Serie A, where, let's see here the results. First result, that's the one I watched at the wedding. Cagliari, Milan. Milan, quite surprisingly, wins at Cagliari to end the first half of the season. I did not expect that, and I think they overplayed well. They deserved the win. I have to also mention there's a lot of new shirts released in Italy, and that reminds me I should do a Ligue 1 jersey review. I honestly don't have the time at the moment, but I promise by March or so I will have it. Cagliari with was a centenary 120-year jersey that I found a little bit weird, especially the logo. Yes, it was an artisan, but it really looked like a stamp in a way. And then the cross also, it didn't strike me as a great kit. Cagliari used to issue a really great kit that looked kind of oldish, but this one didn't look good, and this allowed Milan to play again in the black jerseys. And maybe they're selling now some, because they played all right, I have to say, and with Leao and Ibrahimovic in front, the two, I think, gel quite nicely. Ibrahimovic a little bit more static, but Leao can really play off Ibrahimovic and vice versa. And that's exactly what you could see. I mean, it was a goalless first half where Ibrahimovic hit already the post, and there was another good chance right after the half. Leao gets the ball, takes a shot in a very nonchalant way. It takes a wicked deflection off the heel of a Cagliari defender and loops into the net. Makes it 1-0. That moment, everyone at the wedding knew that we were watching soccer. I literally didn't care. I was very open about it, that I need a little bit of that. It's my favorite team playing. And then the big moment. Ibrahimovic plays out to Hernandez, who there is Leao in the center, but he plays it back to Ibrahimovic, who takes a shot from an angle that not many will take it, and makes it 2-0 for Milan. They actually would have scored a third one. But yeah, I have to say, Milan, if they continue playing like that, I'm not that worried, and I actually think they could enter the calm conversation of at least going to an Europa League place. Other news surrounding Milan: Simon Jar has been acquired on loan. Pepe Reina is gone now. He's, I think, at Aston Villa. They got Begovic, and of course the big news is that the Louis Vuitton CEO is probably taking over. Let's see about that. I have to see, when I look at the team, and I just heard it on Gavin Jules' podcast again. I mean, there is a good basis there for a young team. You have Donnarumma, you have Romagnoli, you have Benacer, Kessie. I think there is something there, and Ibrahimovic seemingly gives them, you have Theo Hernandez, of course. Ibrahimovic gives them kind of this presence that they can all play off with a little bit more confidence. They need a little bit kind of squad to be a little bit wiser. So I actually liked that showing. Lazio with a very messy 1-0 win over Napoli, I have to say. It was not a good game from what I could see. Napoli hit once the post, played in those horrible green jerseys. Lazio, it's another special jersey, celebrates also 120 years, with basically a replica of the jersey that they won the championship in. Ospina in the 82nd gets out of the goal. Ciro Immobile challenges him, gets the ball from him, puts it in the net. Probably was an own goal, but I think it will not count as an own goal, because even without the touch of the defender, it would have gone in. 1-0. Lazio, I think, has now 10 or 11 wins in a row. We may enter them into the conversation for the championship race, especially since they have a game in hand, and Inter playing only 1-1 against Atalanta. They came out storming very quickly. Martinez had it 1-0 for Inter. But then Atalanta, after 30 minutes, at the time where Inter probably could have added a second, comes back into the game. And in the 75th, late in the game, gets then a deserved equalizer. That moment they were dominating Inter, who, yes, had some players missing, and in the 88th they get a penalty that Muriel manages to miss. I would have loved to watch this game. I saw extended highlights. It was a pretty good game. It was something that I was expecting. On Sunday, Udine beat Sassuolo 3-0. I saw Fiorentina's Spal was not all a great game, but Fiorentina got in there and got a very emotional win. Finally, again, one has to say. Torino 1-0 over Bologna, and I also saw a second half, a little bit of Sampdoria against Brescia. But I think when that one went to 3-1 through a Gagliarella penalty, I kind of switched over. It was already 2-1, where actually Brescia had the lead, but Linete Yankto turned around before the half. Gagliarella with the penalty, and then Caprari, and again Gagliarella make it a big win for Sampdoria. Hellas beats Genoa 2-1, was a vital win for them. They were 1-0 down at the half, and they turned around in the second half. Again, didn't see much of that one. And then Roma Juve was a pretty good game with a very awful start, especially for Roma. First awful jersey matchup. That was purely commercial reasons. Why is Roma playing in blue against Juventus in white? They played in their first colors, especially with this Juve kit last season, where Roma played in, I think, in their regular kit or even in all red, and Juve played in their black and white half with black pants. It looked, I don't want to say glorious because of the Juve shirt, but it looked good. So it was purely down to selling more jerseys. Well, the game will be mostly remembered for two injuries to I would say, vital players to both teams, but also vital players for the national teams that will meet in the opening game of the Euros exactly in the same stadium. So, I mean, it's all circle. But we'll get to that. I mean, Juve got a very quick lead through Demiral, who seems to be the best central defender now, because Roma's defense acted unlucky, and he had didn't even hit it right, but Gal got in. So in the second minute it was 1-0 for Juve. I knew that Roma, if they can get something going, and they showed already some early promise, there could be something, but it was really that Roma could not get yet to their chances, and Juve was deadly, and then they get a penalty. Stupid. Trying to play out from back. Paul Lopez plays it to Veretout, who is highly pressed by Dybala and is brought down. Dybala was clever, but it was a penalty, it has to be said. Ronaldo makes in the 10th 2-0 for Juventus, and everyone knew that the game is done. Credit to Roma. They had like 10 minutes where they could have gotten ugly, but they fought themselves back into the game, and I think they should have deserved a goal. Zaniolo was outstanding. Midway to the first half, Demiral when he was actually in attack again, injured himself in a very weird way. I mean, he falls down. You don't really see if there's anything broken, but he clearly shows that something's wrong. They try to. He actually went to Bologna, but they have to go. We don't know yet what his injury status is. Zaniolo then makes a great run where he bulldozes through two Juve players, and in the end is brought down and tears his ACL and some of his cartilage in the knee. Gutting. He needs operation. He's out for 4 months. Probably the Euros are out for him too. Second half, Roma gets a penalty that Perotti fully deserved. Varney in the looking, but it was clear handball. They had chances before through Dzeko, who had hit the post already. And it was almost comical how Roma cannot make the goal, but then they get the goal. And Juve really had some trouble. It was a good game. I think Roma could have well deserved an equalizer, but Juve wins it and takes over from Inter. Very, very quickly, I saw a little bit Parma-Lecce yesterday. Parma gets 2 second half goals to get the win, which is now deserved. So if you have in the table, Juve back on top, ahead of Inter 2 points. Then Lazio with a game in hand. So Lazio could have 445, and it's really three-way race for a title. Atalanta, Roma equal on points, with Atalanta, of course, a little bit better thanks to goal difference. Cagliari is coming down now, and here's now a really tight pack that, I think goes up until 13th spot. Cagliari, Parma, Torino, Hellas, Milan, Napoli, Udine. I was surprised to see Milan has overtaken Napoli. I think I need to make a Napoli video soon as well to talk about their crisis a little bit, because that's really staggering. Fiorentina might be just about safe, as is Sassuolo, Sampdoria, Lecce. I think it's a four-way race for relegation. Lecce kind of having the upper hand, and Genoa, Brescia, Spal. I honestly would wish that Brescia stays up. I also don't mind Spal or whatever, but you know, it looks a little bit dreary for those teams down there. I actually watched some Liga, and I probably would have watched more if it wasn't for Roma Juve and a game that was played behind closed door. But I watched most of Rennes Marseille, which was a so-and-so game. I think Rennes probably could have taken the lead, but in the end it's Marseille who was overall the better team, who gets the win and asserts himself very well in the second spot. Bordeaux-Lyon was played at a time where I could not watch. Lyon wins 2-1 in Bordeaux. Brest 5-2 over Toulouse. Angers 1-1 against Nice. Metz, Strasbourg 1-0. Nîmes, Reims 2-0. Amiens, Montpellier 1-2. I wanted to watch Saint-Étienne Nantes, but it was played in front of an empty stadium. That did not appeal to me. Nantes running away 2-0 winners, and they are now also in the conversation for Champions League spot, especially since Dijon loses against Lille. And then, yeah, PSG Monaco. I saw a little bit. I saw Neymar has this crazy hairdo. Absolute nuts game. PSG, I think, taking 3 times the lead, twice Neymar. And Monaco manages also equal. It was 3-2 at the half. Monaco gets an equalizer, and PSG has many chances to get the winner, but they don't, and it kind of makes it a little bit tighter on top of the table now, with PSG only having a 5-point lead, but with a game in hand. Marseille is behind with 441. Then you see Rennes and Nantes are now in 3rd and 4th, so the 2 Breton teams. Then Lille, Montpellier are kind of, I would say, they and Lyon is Monaco. They get a little bit up there. I'm not sure about Angers, to be honest, but you know, Monaco could climb a little bit as well. If you look towards the bottom, it's as always, it's really massive. I think when we look at relegation zone, Dijon, Metz, in danger. Amiens is in the relegation playoff, and Nîmes and Toulouse look a little bit bad today. Let's finish the video in Portugal and then Greece. First Portugal, where nothing really exciting happened. All the big boys won. Benfica 2-1 over Aves. Porto 4-2 over Moreirense. Famalicão gets a 1-0 over Boavista, and Sporting Club wins at Vitória Setúbal. So in the table we have again those 4 there. Braga is already a little bit behind the pack there, so Benfica seems to be the champions. Porto will be in the qualification of Famalicão. Sporting will be in the Europa League, as it looks like. There was also a huge game in Greece with PAOK in the last game, winning over AEK 1-0. So basically this, I would say, knocks AEK out of any title contention. It's all between Olympiacos and PAOK. Olympiacos gets a 4-0 win over Lamia, and now they still enjoy a 1-point lead over PAOK. As we can see, AEK out of it, Aris also, and then Xanthi Panathinaikos in there. Well, that was my roundup for the last weekend. Let me know what games you watched, if whether you agree with the assessments of what I saw. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that would be of interest to you too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel, as it will keep you updated with all things that are rotating in my soccer universe. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.